Welcome back to LCS Academy Playoffs. We are on the other side of Game 1 of our series between Cloud9 Academy and Evil Geniuses Academy. And depending upon what time you were tuning into that game, the results may have surprised you. It was Evil Geniuses Academy that came out with the victory. And Mad Magical, it was quite an interesting game the way that ended up flipping there towards the end.
It really was, because you look at the draft and there's so much going well for Cloud9 Academy. They have this draft that's about the late game, about scaling, but then this pick right here kind of sets up a little bit about what's to come, what's in the future. Because you'd expect, even after this pick, it's not that big a deal for Cloud9. They still can scale, they'll still do well, but then this fight, after Cosmic Radiance had already been blown, they looked to fight against Evil Geniuses Academy.
And Deserux, it was kind of towards that early game before we even got to these moments that we were wondering, how are EG going to try and find an advantage considering how much time had passed before they could really get that comp into it?
Yeah, I mean, talking about the draft that Mad Magical mentioned earlier, you know, there's not that much damage on EG unless they focus as a whole. They played around the resources of Cloud9, and Cloud9, it just seemed like a lot of hubris. Once EG were able to get together, they played it as if it was a pick comp. And what did they want to pick out? They wanted to pick out Isles. They wanted to stop the Cosmic Radiance. You have another clip over here where you have Isles just by his lonesome, and you're going to wait for that Ash arrow to come through right on the money. Team Luke finds it. Look at the chain of CC that follows as well. There is no time for a Cosmic Radiance to go through. EG played that beautifully.
It feels like there were two sides to this coin at Mad Magical because EG was playing this really well and achieving these picks, but also Cloud9 falling apart maybe a bit in their synergy in these moments to have themselves separated across the map.
This is a problem that even Westrice himself, the coach of Cloud9 Academy, had highlighted. There's a little bit of dyssynergy coming in with the team sometimes where you can tell that they're not all on the same page, and right there, when they're getting picked off like that, obviously, it's going to be a difficult time to exactly figure out what you want to do. But all Cloud9 had to do in this game was play patiently, wait out, be grouped as a team, because you have to fear the pick potential that Evil Geniuses Academy have. But unfortunately, they fell into the trap of Evil Geniuses Academy over and over and over again that allowed them to just be able to steamroll and win the game. Even here, when they win, there was Darshan and Copy in the bottom lane, essentially solo killing Tony Top, while the base is in tatters, while the base is being completely overrun by the enemy. That's not the time to be looking for that kind of play. Sure, you want that maybe about 10 minutes ago, but not then.
Yeah, and honestly, it did look pretty good for Cloud9 Academy very early on. They had a lot of scaling working for them, and they were farming really well. I believe around the 12-minute mark, we saw King solo farm a first brick by himself and get a 1k lead against his ADC opponent in Team Luke. But that doesn't really mean for much if you don't do anything with it. This kind of throws me back to CLG versus Cloud9 Academy, where Cloud9 Academy just didn't do anything and let one of those games go the way of CLG. Cloud9 Academy, if they want to correct a lot of those things that Westrice was talking about, we need to see action from them. We need to see an actual game plan unfold throughout the series.
That's not to take away from Evil Geniuses Academy. They played their comp really well. And this is something that we were kind of like wondering. This wasn't our favorite draft looking for Evil Geniuses Academy, but they played to the strengths of it. Having that utility out of Ashe to find these picks, then buffing up Tomio, the new jungler, the new player for the team, giving him so much agency to be able to steamroll everyone of Cloud9. That's what you want to see from this team, bringing in a new player, yet they still play like they had the same jungler from before with Contract, where he was this aggressive jungler, except it was more about the team fights, more about the skirmishes, utilizing the Olaf-Lulu combo.
That is the thing about this, right? Things weren't going in EGA's favor, but they had a clear strategy with that Olaf having the Lulu there to really amp up his potential power. Deserux, if we're looking over towards the C9A side, you mentioned the fact that this isn't the first time we have seen them get a bit inactive towards the end and forfeit games because of that. What would you be saying to the team going into game number 2, knowing that they had some great moments in the early game, but struggled later when it came to closing?
I mean, make a plan and stick to it. That's basically it. Just go through with it, actually have something ready, because right now it felt like they just fell down. It felt like they just let the game happen. Like, as much as I want to commend Evil Geniuses Academy for being able to win that, it almost felt like a single player game. It almost felt like PvE, player versus environment. Cloud9 need to do more than just be an NPC. They need to make plays on the map. They need to understand where the resources are and not mismanage them like we saw with the Cosmic Radiance, not mismanage them like we saw with a lot of the ultimates that Cloud9 Academy were throwing out in that game.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say that they have to make sure they're playing around that Taric. If you're going to draft Taric, Cosmic Radiance is a massive tool that you have to always keep your eyes on when you're going to be able to utilize it. And you look over to Evil Geniuses, they understood that. They understood the strength of their opponent, saying, hey, Cosmic Radiance is down around that Baron fight. Let's go fight them. Doesn't matter if it's a 4v5. They've used so many ults in order just to make that one pick happen onto Mystique's, the Leona of all players, that it's perfect for them to be able to clean house, run right back at them, and win.
Yeah, and looking at that back even a bit more, I want to know, Mad Magical, who you are looking at specifically on C9A to potentially have that moment to show out here in game number 2. Because we saw, for instance, King on the Aphelios was starting to get online, but got a little bit questionable in moments in the end when he couldn't really get into those fights because of what EGA was bringing.
Well, I think if you're going to build this Aphelios comp with Taric, you play around King, and that's what I want to see out of Cloud9. I want them to play more around this ADC, because you could sure talk about Darshan being able to get the solo kill onto Tony Top, bullying him around in all the laning phase, but you get first brick onto your Aphelios. You have all that gold piled into him. You play around him. You have typical front-to-back team fight. You make sure you're always peeling for him so he can get that damage. If I'm looking at what I want from Cloud9, if you're playing around any player, King is the player to make sure you're facilitating at all times.
We've seen them do it in the past, and I'm sure that we'll see them do it again at some point in this series. I think a lot of people, especially after that result, are expecting this to go the distance. I do want to dive a bit more on how EGA were playing around Tomio, because we saw later his ability to go in, utilize the ultimates effectively, but it was called out the fact that they don't have that jungle presence in voice in the early game ever since he's come to the table. Also, he is playing away from the rest of the team in a different location. So, Deserx, do you think that this is a consistent issue that EGA might find in the early game, or was this a one-off set where they just weren't able to find the advantages?
Well, right now, I'm kind of hoping it's a one-off set, but I do think this might be a repeating thing just from the way we've seen EGA play in their last couple of games. And to be fair, those games were against FlyQuest and 100 Thieves, teams that are at the very top of the ladder, but there's a certain amount of consistency that's been lacking with them. I'm hoping they're able to find it soon. I think, you are getting a lot of momentum with Tomio. They are shaping up with them well. It does look like Coach Matt was telling the truth when he says scrims with Tomio are going well. Overall, I like it for EG Academy having Tomio on the team, and I think that communication, I think that is all going to be tested in this series, and we're just going to have to see how well he can adapt.
There is a lot of strength shown in him from that jungle position, and we will see it unfold throughout the entirety of the series. We didn't get the opportunity to do this at the top of the series. I know it's a little unconventional after game number 1, but I do want to get the feel from both of you on your predictions. I will trust that you give me some honesty regardless of the result that we just had. So, Mad Magical, starting with you, who did you expect to come out here on top in the overall best-of-5 matchup?
I was expecting to see a repeat of what we saw in the spring proving grounds. For the last time these two teams faced off, I believe, in round 4, where Cloud9 was actually able to sweep them. It was only a best of 3 there, so they got the 2-0. But here, I was expecting, essentially, I don't know if I'd actually go with a sweep, because that's always saying that, oh yeah, I'm not expecting EG to do anything. This is a team that has, historically, you just look at Summer, gotten 1-1. I expect them to at least be able to get a game over Cloud9, but I expected a 3-1, favoring that of Cloud9 Academy. So going into this one, I expect if they even draft the same thing, just play to their win condition, don't actually try to force these fights, they'll probably be able to take the second game.
Deserx, are you aligned with that?
I am completely aligned with it. I was 3-1 before the series even started. Cloud9 is a team that adapts very, very well as they play more throughout the series, more games to be played. EGA, I already talked about their consistency issues, but yeah, I completely echo that. I think Cloud9 is spectacular. I think they have a lot of potential to climb back up and potentially be a finalist in this, even with the top-end competition that we have in teams like FlyQuest and 100 Thieves. Wes Rice is doing a good job with the team and trying to make it more of a synergistic unit. He's been saying as of lately, when I had a talk with him, that he believes this team has found their coordination. We just need to see it here today. We need to see the plays. Magical, you were saying it, man. We need to see it, dude. We need to see something on the Rift.
Yeah, we gotta see it come through. And I want to give just a bit of a broader talk on the meta and how these teams have approached them, because you guys both mentioned the adaptability of these teams, the shift in the mid position, for instance. And we just saw Jojo Pune bring out the Lulu once again when he has been on a lot of these melee AD champs in the past, and can probably expect to bring him out there today as well. And on the other side, the Syndra coming out for copy, shifting over towards that control mage style. Mad Magical, between these two teams, do you think that one has a handle more effectively on the shift of the meta thus far that is still being constructed ultimately?
So I will say, just looking at draft purely, I would have given that game over Cloud9 Academy. I feel like they had a better understanding. Syndra is just really strong right now. They even banned away LeBlanc, even though that matchup sometimes is more of a coin flip of who's going to really get the edge. It's the wave clear that Copy is able to provide. You saw how Japan really couldn't leave that lane to actually help out in any early skirmishes for Tomio. Normally when the strength of that combo of Olaf Lulu is most powerful, around level 6, where they want to be able to fight against Surenfire. So if I gave any team a more a better grasp of the meta currently, I'd go with Cloud9. However, the execution is where things lacked a little bit when it came to the later elements, when it came to the 20-minute mark, where right then is usually when you start seeing a little bit of the fall-off coming in from a composition like Evil Genius has had. But they had the fight at exactly the moment they needed to. That was really difficult to overcome for Cloud9.
And with the way the draft went, I think Evil Geniuses were a little bit smart with it as well. Even though I do like Cloud9's draft more, if you look at the way the bans went, it was Thresh, Tahm Kench, Nautilus, Braum, all taken off the map. They really choked that support pool. So Isles was forced in that position where he needed to play the Taric, and EG knew how to punish that.
Yeah, on those supports, we have seen a lot of plays being made on either side, and maybe we'll get a chance to see them again in game number 2 here. We are ready to send it over to our casters. We've got Rafa, and we've got Cubby bringing you into it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Game 2. Game 1, we saw EGA take it late. Thanks to the desk for summarizing things for us. And Rafa, I understand you have something to say.
Yeah, in that game 1, I had some phrasing about a certain play that Tomio made. Might be. And for 30 seconds, I am not allowed to talk. So, Cubby, you got to take it through the draft while I have the censorship of shame here.
All right, so we got the censor of shame for Rafa as a little bit of a slip-up, but we do, importantly, have a side swap coming in as EG, they took Game 1, so C9, they got side select Game 2. They're going to take the red side, switching things up, and we're going to have to see how EG are going to be able to respond to that, as this will give them possibly a first pick, and I'm curious to see if we see a similar Xin Zhao Olaf trade, if we see that ban, if we see EGA setting up for a Xin Zhao. A lot of options here on the blue side as Rafa. Is that defined completed? I've got my watch, you know. We good?
Okay. There we go. All right. I was watching the clock there. All right. Feels good to be back. Sorry.
I do not. The play-by-play seat is not for me, so I'm glad you're back as well.
Sometimes you just got to call it how it is, man. You know, Tomio was finally unlocked, but, if Surenfire pops off, don't worry. If Surenfire pops off as well, I've already promised Cloud9 that there'll be just as an appropriate level to match that call. But for Cloud9 Academy, banning out another mid laner here as well.
Yeah, so a lot of focus going over to Jojo Pune. I also want to shout out, if you are scratching your head at the Fiddlesticks ban, by chance, that is Surenfire's third most played, and he is 6-1 on the Fiddlesticks in 7 plays. Very good, very scary on the champion. And seeing that Olaf ban from C9, I think that this might bait in EG. Xin Zhao and Diana are both up. I'm curious how they trade these, and I have a lot to talk about if C9 do take Diana because of how AD melee-centric Copy's champion pool has been this split.
The other curious thing, too, Cubby, is that if whoever goes for the Xin Zhao, we've seen the other counterpick of choice has been the Trundle. Mostly Team Liquid has kind of specialized and dipped into that flavor of choice, but Evil Genius' Academy, recognizing how pivotal the Lulu was for their composition in Game 1, take it up here in B1.
Yeah, so this is actually really curious because it kind of forces C9 to think about taking that Xin Zhao away from EG, but of course, if they do, that would enable EG to make a trade of sorts as C9. Ziggs was left up. They are going to take that King has only played it twice, but it is one of Team Luke's best champions. He is very, very good on the Ziggs, so this is also a takeaway for C9, and definitely sets up for more of those 80 heavy picks from their solo laners that we've seen a lot from them, as they're going to continue to put off the jungle pick and going to hand over the Xin Zhao Lulu to EGA if they want it.
Yeah, the other curious thing about this Leona lockup, normally we've seen Nautilus as the standard combo starter with Ziggs, but I wonder, I mean, Leona can not only fulfill a similar service as Nautilus, but also it is a takeaway from Mystique's in the game 1 success that they just had. So Evil Geniuses.
This would enable the Alistar, which is Mystique's second most played and best champion that he has in his pool, something that he relied on heavily in the spring as well. As this is a handshake into Leona. It's not the greatest matchup in the Ziggs, as the Minefield and Satchel Charge can do a very good job of controlling Alistar. And I don't think they're going to opt for a support here, as they think they want to maintain that Lulu flex. As we don't expect it to go in the hands of Mystiques, but if they take an AD to respond to Ziggs, they could at least maintain the 3-way flex. They are going to decide to go with the Ashe once again to try and rebuild the composition they had in the last game, Rafa, which was long-range engage and enabling Tomio to follow up with the Lulu behind him on top of that.
You know, you were talking with Team Luke before the series, and you talked about how he's taking up long-distance running. And with the Crystal Enchanted Arrows, that's a global ulti right there. So that's a hell of a distance you are covering on the map with long-range engages. And, you know, the first couple of ultimates didn't necessarily land, but after the mid-game, every single Crystal Enchanted Arrow was money on the shot.
Okay. Also, on top of that, Rafa, we have the jungle response, and it is going to be the Trundle that you teased out that's been popularized by Armeo, specifically on Team Liquid Academy, one that's very good in the Xin. Where Xin Zhao has to go in, you can control him with that pillar. As C9, they're going to have a choice whether they want to blind a mid or a top lane. Knowing C9 and how they play, it's most likely going to be a blind for copy. And I think EGA, I have a good feeling we're going to see a Cinder ban coming out here, Rafa. You can attack Syndra with Xin Zhao Olaf, but it is a comfortable blind. What a copy's best champions historically, and one that's just very powerful in the meta at the moment.
I'm curious to see if Cloud9 actually pivot back to the set. Or for an AD mid for copy, as we know he's had tons of success on AD mids in the summer, the set being one of the most notable ones, as his teammates have called him the CEO of the set, or the chairman of set as well. Cloud9 Academy are going to take away some more top lane blind pickable bans for Tony Top. Still has access to the Wukong, but you know, for Darshan, that might open up some counter pick possibilities if that is the choice for Tony.
There's a choice coming out here from EG, because those two bans from C9, once again, I think they're setting up Darshan for a Gnar, for a Gangplank, something of the likes of that. Just try and control space, control the engage that EG is going to have to go for. And EG actually, they do take away one of the champions that Copy is better at, and a flex, one that both Copy and Darshan have played to great success this split in the Lee Sin. That also, it does deny the Trundle flex. We fully expect that to be in the jungle, but we could see it in the top lane if they do get a good matchup. And I think C9 here, what would make sense for me, I think it's Gangplank or Gnar coming out if they want to blind a top laner.
There it is!
And that is going to be the Gnar for Darshan. So Darshan on Gnar. 4-0 with a 13.7 KDA this split. He has been fantastic on the champion, one of the best Gnar players that we have in Academy, up there with the likes of Viper. And this is going to be something where Tony Top, two of the counters that he would usually like to opt for are taken away. And Wukong is pretty tough to pilot into the pillar, into Leona, into Ziggs. So we're going to have to see if he goes for that or goes for something different. And it is going to be the historical counter to Gnar, something that got buffed on the last patch in the Kennen.
You know, something about Kennen top is that we normally don't see it from many of the other Academy top laners unless your name is Jenkins from Team Liquid as well, since that has been an historic comfort pick for him. But the curious thing about Kennen is, you know, you can flank with the Slicing Maelstrom, but it historically has been really great into compositions that go into you because it's easier as an anti-dive and anti-engage method.
So we talked about the difficulty of piloting the Alistar. Trundle doesn't help with that either. I know it's a traditional counter or handshake with Leona, but Mystique's not feeling as comfortable in that, but is going to go for the Rakan, something that Mystique's has used rather well. And what I like about Rakan is when you're able to piggyback off of someone else's engage. Tomio is going to be the one starting the fight, so having that Lulu Rakan to back that up, it's a little bit of a lower damage composition from EG, and I think that C9 see that And they're going to go
Graves
for
mid.
a Graves
It's Graves mid.
As we talked about the fact it's a lower damage comp. Graves thrives in this if he goes for an Immortal Shield Bow and just tries to go to be a Drain Tank. This will grant C9 prio in that mid lane. And a very creative counter we have coming out that Rafa, I'm going to give you the mic because you got more knowledge about this than me, apparently.
This is a flavor that has actually been seen in some of the semi-pro scrims currently going on as they prepare for the Unified Grand Prix that will begin next Monday.
He's going to
if
be out
I'm
here
not
leaking
mistaken.
scrim strats?
Oh, well, okay. Well, I couldn't leak which team was practicing it. I mean, if you go through the pro players' accounts...
Rafa, I thought you were reformed. I thought we stopped this.
Oh my God! Wow, we're plugging other merch as well. But no. I mean, I'm not necessarily leaking scrims, as it wasn't something that I saw in a scrim. I've been going through semi-pros solo queue accounts, and I know one particular mid laner who has been that I'm really close to, that I've been spamming it a lot, and
yes,
it's kind of nuts right now. So, and Graves mid, especially into something like Lulu. I mean, Lulu is not going to really harass you that much in lane, and with all the sustain that you can get from Fleet into a Immortal Shield Bow rush, as you talked about, you're going to have insane lane control, and you're going to always have priority, as it's incredibly easy just to shove lane with the end of the line Q from Graves and of just the AoE auto attacks.
And this is something that, once again, C9 enabled with that first pick Ziggs they had on the red side, right? Having that magic damage in the bot lane gives you a lot of creative counters. Copy has been leading a lot on these AD mids specifically. We cited the set, and this Graves, it is going to be a new champion for him, but one that I'm excited to see, Rafa, as we're diving into Game 2 of this best of 5, where C9 did drop Game 1, have some coming back to do in this one.
Okay, so I know I said that we were going to most likely see, like, a sustain build, and right on with you with Fleet, but this is Electrocute from Copy, so he's actually going for Burst.
Okay.
So this could be the Gale Force Collector build that we have seen some Graves run as well.
Potentially. I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing that. The good thing about Electrocute is that you can actually proc it instantly with Graves. If you dash in with the smoke screen, it guarantees that your Q, at least one of them, is going to connect. So Copy going for the burstier trade patterns, trying to get around Jojo Pyun's Lulu and that. And for me, Rafa, this puts even more importance. We talked about the scaling of EGA last game, how they were opting for more of an early game composition. I think this game's even more important for them. Just the fact that they do have this Lulu Xin Zhao combo as the top winners. I guess we're going to have a fight to the death here, level 1.
The way that Darshan was positioned, it seemed that he was confident that he would be able to win out on the 1v1 all-in, but as he started backing away, the realization slowly came in. It's like, wait a minute, I'm actually not winning this.
So Darshan does have a Dorn Shield and will get health from his Gnar transform, so I do think this actually favors him in the long run, as Tony Top will have some catching up to do here on the Kennen, as both junglers are starting on the bot side, pathing towards top. The fact that health bars are low here might lead to a little bit more explosive gameplay early.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if Surenfire or Tomio make any adaptations in their camp clears to see if they can beat the punch from the other jungler and get to the top lane early while top laners are still sub 50% HP.
And Tomio is doing just that, Rafa. He's gone from red, skipping over the Raptors and the Krugs just straight up to the blue buff. Might hit the Gromp to get that level 3 and get some health back as Tony Top.
No. He's just gonna go straight from blue buff right into top lane at this point. He's already, top lane, Darshan has already burned the flash from Tony Top, but you can see, I wonder if Surenfire is gonna recognize the same adaptation as Tomio actually is gonna back off now and not go for a level 2 gank.
Yeah, he wants that health and level 3 that he will be granted with the Gromp, as Surenfire does have that level 3. That Raptors ward, usually Trundle doesn't take a pit stop at Raptors. This is gonna be a deadly gank for Tony Top. He's going down.
Beautiful. Tony Top, no flash. Nice pillar is going to ensure that there's no gap closed from Tony Top, and it's first blood for Cloud9.
So because of this, you can already see Tomio adapting his pathing. He can't go top anymore. That's already gloom and doom, so he's going to walk bot and try and get that bot crab as Jojo Pyun very aggressively in the mid lane, trying to punish Copy. Now, the downside of Graves in this matchup, Graves gets extra armor from Grit, but does not get MR. So this does enable Jojo Pyun to harass him early in the match, but with levels and items. Once Graves gets that Vampiric Scepter, he is going for the Immortal Shield Bow. Will very much help him, but Jojo Pyun really playing his limits on this Lulu early.
Yeah. This is something that potentially could have been alleviated with Fleet, but the Electrocute, as you said, it will allow for better trade patterns. That's why he went for the long sword, so he can go for the Vampiric Scepter early, as Isles is going to take a slightly early engage on the Mystiques, trying to cut the rest of EG off, but because Copy's not able to come back to lane as early as Jojo Pion. It looks like the priority from the side of Team Luke and Mystiques being able to shove in that wave into King is going to give them control for Crab, but just as I say that...
No, the Crab's there. The TP from Copy scared him off. Jojo Pion has to now respond because he's not there in time. They're just going to seed it over to C9. Get Tomio back in the jungle farming, but Tomio, despite the first blood going over to Schernfire, is still keeping up in his clear, wants to hit that level 6 on the Xin Zhao, and it's going to be on him and Jojo Pion to really sync up, make sure that they're going to be the ones doing all the damage, all the work. The mid-jungle duo, once again, going to be very important for EG in this game.
Darshan taking an aggressive trade once again. He's down on pots, though, as Tony Top is chugging his refillable pots. And Darshan, now dangerously low, doesn't have teleport to be able to answer back. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, beautiful pillar into the Zenith Blade is going to hit the bottom side of the map. Team Luke has to burn both summoners, but it's still not going to be enough. King picks up the kill.
And that pillar for Schernfire works once again. Copy! Oh, wasn't able to go get over the wall. And Tomio takes down his good friend, Team Infernal teammate from Scouting Grounds last year, Copy in the mid lane.
Fortunate disaster for Copy as he's not able to flash over the wall. I don't know if Jojo Pion would be able to answer with his own flash over the wall, as Copy was dangerously low, but still, hate to see it. If you are a Cloud9 fan, but EG gives a little bit of money back to stem the bleeding that is already happening on a little bit of parts of the map after the first blood.
Let's take a look at how Team Luke wasn't able to get out of this one. Oh, already had to burn the flash from a previous fight, Rafa. So that's why the pillar was so effective from Schernfire, as places that in the perfect spot. Cannot get out for the Ashe. And Tomio, hard commit. Copy, not quite next to the wall. Ends up going down to the young jungler here for EG as trades across the map. And overall, we didn't have the scoreline until like the 20-minute last game, Rafa. So I hope that you're a little bit more in your comfort zone here. A little bit more action.
Well, definitely things are spicier before the 18-minute mark here, Cubby. So always a fan of things getting spicy in the early game. Schernfire already making a ton of moves. Oh, this is might be a huge wave crash. Copy is also here as well. Tomio is here for the response, but it would be a 2-on-3.
No
nice
flash.
Pillar. Tomio already burning the flash as well. He's caught out. Nowhere else to run. Darshan is able to route him down.
Tony
with this huge wave.
He's trying to hit the wave to get 6. He's very close to hitting that level 6. C9, they actually understand this. And with Jojo Pion rotating over, they're not going to go for the dive. So Tomio does go down for the sins of EG, but are able to at least get Kennen this level 6 and be A-okay in this matchup. Darshan is going to be forced to burn flash, doesn't get caught under the turret. Now Copy. He still has access to that ultimate.
No flash. Oh, but Mystique's a beautiful roam. It's going to potentially stuff what could have been deadliness onto Jojo Pion. Not having to burn his flash, his Isles will rotate as well, just to make sure that the trade doesn't go overwhelmingly in EG's favor, as now things are starting to settle down. Still more action on the Rift here, Cubby, which is something that we both like to see, but for Cloud9, they are still making the right move so far.
A lot of early action for Schernfire, who will get out cleared by Xin Zhao, especially early. But it feels like the way that he's interacting with his lanes, getting a kill for Darshan, helping him at least get ahead in this top lane matchup. Once again, we talked about the importance of Darshan for C9 and how good his Gnar has been throughout the split and what Darshan does as a player. This is a different style for C9. We actually see a lot of how C9 play. It is around Schernfire, around those AP junglers that he has been so prominent bringing out. He has 10 plays on Rumble, 9 on Diana, 7 on Fiddle. Those are the 3 most played all AP junglers, and I must stop talking to Team Luke. You're in trouble.
Oh, that's a big bomb, and that's a dead Team Luke. Mystiques can't do more to save his fellow compadre. Cloud9 are going to be able to take another kill to the bank, alleviate some pressure, as I don't know if Cloud9, this opens the opportunity to take the dragon, as Schernfire is already pathing towards the top side of the map, but they are going to prepare for the Rift Herald.
They will have this top wave bouncing back, should be favorable for C9. As we talked about the prio on Darshan, getting him that early gold, early matchup, very good for him as Schernfire. Different style of jungle that we've seen from him compared to the rest of the split, but Darshan trying to take advantage of that situation, using that Mega Gnar ult.
I don't know if he gets the kill as he can still flash, but the nice thing about this, Cubby, we just saw ultimates being used towards Jojo Pion in the mid lane. We saw ultimates on the top lane as well. No more Slicing Maelstrom, no more Wild Growth. So if EG want to contest, they're going to be down crucial ultimates to take a fight.
And Tony Top, he doesn't have TP, so he's stuck under that turret. As C9 were looking to invade the blue buff, but Mystique's properly roaming up to cover. This is at the Rift Herald timer. And going for that blue buff, that actually takes away the window that C9 might have had to take Rift Herald themselves. So EG actually weathering the storm there. Important they were able to do so.
It's surprisingly enough that Evil Geniuses, despite not having some ultimate cooldowns for this Rift Herald fight, Cloud9 don't feel confident enough to take that, as Mystique's was there. Grand Entrance and Quickness might have turned the tides in their favor. Cloud9 don't want to risk it. There still is a Dragon on the table that neither of the teams has gone for quite yet. The opportunity hasn't really risen for a clear advantage to take the objective. As now Evil Geniuses, they're the ones committing to this Rift Herald.
Yeah, they're actually forcing. King doesn't have his TP to respond, but EG, we saw the crash setup from C9 because they didn't go for the Rift Herald. This enabled the waves to bounce back. Now EG trying to make the play, but uh-oh.
Quickness comes out. Mystique doesn't make it over the wall yet, but they still find Shurnfire. No jungler means that the 50-50 smite won't come in. Crystal Enchanted Arrow lands. Can they capitalize on this? Tony Top still doesn't have Slicing Maelstrom, but Isles has nowhere else to run. It's a double for Tony Top, and Evil Geniuses now, this should be a free Rift Herald to take.
It's a rinse and repeat from last game, Rafa. EG, they're grouping up the Lulu Xin Zhao. It's a combo that we have seen from the start of the split. EG are bringing it back, enabling the youngest player that they have to be a carry, be the player that he was on Evil Geniuses Prodigies. Antonio in his comfort zone. EG off the back of just grouping up, isolating the members of C9, find a kill at the top of the fight, a kill at the bottom of the fight, now take the Rift Herald for themselves. Good play out of them.
And for Cloud9, once again, being on the back foot after what seemed like clean early game play, Shurnfire making a beautiful read onto the top side of the map and giving a little bit of advantage over to Darshan. Hasn't really reigned that much yet for Cloud9 as an overall advantage.
Now, the good thing, or I should say C9 as well, they haven't taken a Dragon yet. And so I'm curious if they end up going for the window, because we are at the point where Copy is going to be clearing out those waves for free, and Rafa, looks like we were wrong with the read of the Immortal Shield Bow. Instead, it looks to be an Eclipse from Copy. I think the benefits of this, it still gives him sustain in lane, and it will give him a big 2-item spike similar to Jace, as he is looking to go for the same build with the Mirror Mana. And I think that Copy, if he ends up picking up a Serpent's Fang on the back half of this, there are a lot of shields over for EG. I think that could be a very efficient second or third item for him. And while EG will get a lot of health and benefit off of those shieldings, off of the Lulu ult, it's going to be low resistances for all the members. No one's going to be building armor except for the Kennen and the Xin Zhao. So going the Thauity for Copy's Graves, he's thinking that this is the burst, the upfront damage that we need to maybe take down a piece of their team fight and just win the fight from there. So C9 looking to play very bursty style around this Leona Graves Ziggs. I think it makes sense for their overall composition.
Yeah, traditionally you see Stairs Gauge come out as a second item for bruisers like Xin Zhao as well after the Gore Drinker. I wonder if Tomio already reads this from Copy and makes an adaptation. You could go for a different second defensive item. You already see, actually, Team Luke, I think that's going to be a Wit's End rush coming out from him.
Yep, Wit's End. We've actually been seeing this on Callista. But Ashe kind of matching the on-hit build as well, going for that Rage Blade. Looks to be the choice from Team Luke. Is 0-2-1. Not the greatest scoreline for Ashe, but that was a big ECA he hit earlier. Now Shurnfire. No damage here for EG, but he is caught out a little bit.
Yeah, no flash for him either. He would have to call the rest of the reinforcements, but
here.
I don't think you're going to be able to escape once the 4-man goon squad from Evil Geniuses collapses in. And this is the third kill of the game for Tony Top on this Kennen Cubby, reflecting back at the beginning of the game where Tony Top was the first death as Shurnfire was trying to punish a flash baited by an all-in from Darshan. This is a wonderful comeback for Tony Top and off of just great team play from Evil Geniuses.
A lot of credit for Jojo Pion, who is known for his carry play, but Lulu is now his most played of the split. Playing well here is, Tomio!
All bomb, though, and there's nowhere for Tomio to go, not even getting a chance to pop the Crescent Guard as the crowd control lockdown into the Mega Inferno Bomb is just a very solid combo from the Cloud9 bottom lane to lock down one priority target. This probably gives an opportunity for Cloud9 to go for the Dragon finally.
Yeah, King and Isles say, Tomio, we realize that you're NA talent, but beat the Oz talent that we have here, as they one-shot Tomio. Really well played from the EG, or the C9 duo in the bot lane. As, like you said, Rafa, that does open up the window to go for Dragon. I think Shurnfire is going to capitalize off that as the third Oz member of this team. Is going to take that objective down for themselves.
Cloud9 Still trying to find ways to bounce back. Technically, they're still ahead in gold, as a lot of the resources that have been dedicated from Evil Geniuses in trying to gain macro advantages has been rotating Mystiques over towards the top side of the map, which has alleviated a lot of pressure from King in the bottom lane and has netted him a CS advantage apart from the jungle pressure that Surenfire did put towards the bottom lane early on.
Also, when your opponent dies twice, it gets taken off the map. That's going to help.
Well,
the CS.
you know, I'm trying to lead into that, you know, without actually saying it, but you know. Almost 15 minutes in, Cubby. The next dragon is not going to be spawning for a few minutes, 4 to be exact, neither the Baron buff, as now we have this Rift Herald spawning in, but the members of Evil Geniuses are starting to rotate into this top jungle.
And importantly, they dropped that after point, so they actually lost a lot from that Shelly play. A lot of potential gold. But EG, once again, are synced up. Mystiques, Tomio, he steals the red, going on Shurn.
Shurn has flash. It's going to be too late. It does get out alive thanks to the power of that Subjugate being able to...
Oh, they're collapsing.
Doing a lot of the tanky stats. Uh-oh.
Oh,
now...
Oh, Darshan caught Mega. He's out. Never mind.
Tony Top did have the supporting angle as well and had Slicing Maelstrom out. So Darshan probably could have... is not really favoring that, as Mystiques might be caught out here.
And all the meanwhile, while this is going on, Rafa, once again, C9, the same mid-game we saw from them last game. They're just taking advantage of EG's aggression. They go even on the play. They lose red buff, but they'll happily trade that for a solo turret for copy on the Graves in the bot lane. The C9 continue to play out 3 lanes, try and stem the pressure that this Lulu and Xin Zhao combo are creating, and just win plays where this duo is not, as they take down bot turret by themselves at the back of Copy's Graves.
And knowing that Jojo Pion is happy to kind of sit back on the farm department, as this is a Lulu high income support. Once you hit that 2-item power spike, you're kind of done. So you don't necessarily need to focus on CSs that much as Evil Geniuses, like you said. They're focusing on grouping up, trying to empower Tomio to be the big carry in this instance. But for Cloud9, as Copy did experience a little bit of a unfortunate setback from that gank from Tomio, giving him a lot of solo time in the side lane has ramped up, given him that Eclipse power spike, and is now helping him what I assume is going to be a Muramana coming in second.
So, Muramana on its own is not good. Like, you want the Evolve, right? And so I think he might wait for that and go for Serpent's Fang as, Copy finds Jojo Pion, but now EG coming in with the TP. They're trying to turn it.
Slicing Maelstrom comes out. The rest of the Goon Squad from Evil Geniuses, hey, we've seen this story before. Dedicate 4 members to a side laner that is slightly overextended. It did burn a teleport and ultimate from Tony Top, but I don't know if Cloud9 are necessarily in position to go for the Rift Herald on the other side of the map in exchange.
I think EG are very comfortable with this. Once again, you can see Tomio taking the farm in that side lane. As you mentioned, Jojo Pion not needing it nearly as much as Tomio, who is trying to rush for that second item stair gauge, and now C9 trying to rinse and repeat. There's no turret there. They're in trouble.
Jojo Pion has flash, has teleport, but I don't think he's getting out of this situation. Darshan, eyes on the prize, slam Jojo Pion into the wall. That's a dead Lulu. Cloud9 are going to be able to happily take that trade.
So punish back for back. That is away from the monster objective that's on the map at the moment, but EG, of course, their jungler being bought, are not going to be able to respond with that. As C9, off their play of 3 lanes here, Rafa, have actually cracked open a 3k gold lead for themselves. And with this next dragon spawning, we're going to have to see if C9 can fix the mistakes they made in the last game, which was falling vulnerable to the picks off the back of Team Luke's Ashe. If they are able to stay grouped as 5, survive this Lulu Xin Zhao, I still think they're going to be very favored in this dragon fight, as EG are posturing for it, and King! He used Satchel Charge. Clever play.
Yeah, Satchel Charge to get out of harm's way.
A little bit
I
extra
don't know
distance.
if he could actually see the Crystal Enchanted Arrow from Fog before it came out, but I'm going to say he had a sixth sense about it. Something was amiss. The spider senses were tingling for King, and got himself out of safety, dodging out on a very crucial engage pick tool from Evil Geniuses. Dragon is about to spawn. 40 seconds. Rift Herald's being spedly taken by Evil Geniuses. And I wonder if they take a page, just making up words on the spot here. It's one of the things that we get to do on the Academy channel. I wonder if Tomio decides to go for a play and using this Rift Herald, similar to the way Cloud9 used their Rift Herald in Game 1.
Honestly, that's a good call out, Rafa, because if you look at the map, at the bottom river, C9 has total control over that Dragon Pit, and Surenfire is rotating there now, as Copy is playing on this top side very carefully. trying to stem any dives that may come out, because C9, they know they have control over this bot side river. They have control over the Dragon. EG will be seeding this, trying to find gold elsewhere.
Ocean Dragon will go over to Cloud9. They're going to be 2 up. We are getting an Infernal Soul this game, especially the members of King and Copy who pack a punch with all of their damage. Having an Infernal Soul on top of it would be very nice to add to the blows of the ultimate abilities coming out, especially from that collateral damage and Mega Inferno Bomb, respectively. But, as we saw in Game 1, Cubby, Cloud9, they were on the brink of Soul Point 3 times. And 3 times, Evil Geniuses had taken control of the map and pushed them away from the Dragon.
But this time around, C9 has not fallen to the same mistakes in this mid game. They're playing out these 3 lanes a little bit more carefully. And if you look at the scoreboard, I think the big win for C9 is the fact they've netted King a massive advantage as he sidesteps another Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Now, the second Rift Turtle will knock down this mid lane turret, as it is very difficult to break a Ziggs. I think that's why EG might have prioritized this objective over the Dragon. But King's still sitting at level 13, has 2 items, has that completed Demonic Embrace,
King.
and might be vulnerable.
They want him so bad. The Grand Entrance and the quickness is going to be enough to finally get a shutdown despite not having Crystal Enchanted Arrow. Copy answers back a bunch of damage from collateral damage, but only onto the back line. The front line, relatively untouched. Tommy's going to go back in. Slicing Maelstrom. Holy kabooly, Tony Top! What a play!
And EG, once again, off the back of Tony Top on a team fighter. These big ultimates, they turn a fight. C9 a little bit too greedy in EG. They're skipping over the topside camps. They don't want that. They've taken down 4 members. They feel like they can burn the Baron and Rafa. I feel like they can.
This feels eerily similar to Game 1 all again, Cubby. All it takes is one fight to swing the favor tremendously into the favor of Evil Geniuses Academy. And with one fight is all they need to run away and just speed the momentum in their tracks.
And EG, off the back of their new member Tomio and Mystiques as well, stepping up big in this game. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow, it doesn't connect, but Mystiques guarantees this one does with the flash. Satchel Charge can't even get off. Beautiful layering once again from EG, who are playing so well as a team in this game. And this re-engage, I saw it, I called it out. The W lands on Isles, the Lulu combo with Xin Zhao. They have to burn flash, and this opens up the gate for Tony Top to flash in, put the finishing touch on this fight. As EG look to put the finishing touches on this game with this Baron buff, this will be a massive gold injection for them. I think their goal is to take down all the inner and outer turrets, as with the patch a couple patches ago, they buffed up the gold that they give solo if you are around those turrets. So these inner turrets on the side lanes now worth 650 gold for a member by in the area. And if EG can take that down, they were down 3k gold. I think they can, at the end of this Baron, I think their goal is to be up 3k if they're able to execute upon this.
Oh no, Darshan is in deep waters right now.
That's
there are heavily dominated. Well, is he going to be able to get there in time? The check with the wild growth for the AoE knockup. Darshan now has no route of safety or escape. Beautiful interrupt from Judge Apiana as he gets there in the nick of time, preventing Darshan from being able to get out scot-free with that teleport. So there's also another shutdown injection of gold into the pockets of Tony Top.
Now, C9, they understand at this point of the game, they do not win grouped. EG, this is where they're very powerful. 2 items on Lulu with that Chemtech Purifier. So they're trying to play the map once again, and they've done a decent job of that. Taking the mid-inner turret, the top outer, they're at least trading somewhat evenly and around the Baron buff, where EG is going to be very strong. C9's goal now is going to be to try and reset, try and stem the bleeding, and see if they can maybe make a play for this 3rd Infernal Dragon. EG will have Baron up by the time this Dragon spawns, which should give them priority over that bot river, as...
Isles does flash, but a flash on Leona means that you cannot find engages as easily as you would be able to before. Considering that Cloud9 are on the back foot, maybe that doesn't harm them as much as they would like, as they are now looking for disengages, as Evil Geniuses are just pressing the gas pedal so hard right now.
And you can see Tomio, he actually gets a lane to himself with the Xin Zhao. It's so important that he gets the CS here. As Jojo Pyun sticking around with the 3, trying to enable Team Luke on the Ashe, who is able to take down that turret. Now EG, because they are playing out these 2 lanes, and Tony Top has actually crashed the lane top, playing this Baron buff rather beautifully. They're going to deny Golden XP in the top lane. C9 decide not to respond to that, and now they're going to get pushed in the bot lane.
Evil Genius is giving Cloud9 a taste of their own medicine after the macro play that we saw from Cloud9 Game 1 for the first 18 minutes of the game. Copy has to walk over, catch this top wave. Does have teleport to be able to answer for the dragon fight, but with the way that Cloud9 have cleared out the vision in the bottom side of the jungle, it just does not seem like a safe path to walk through if you are Cloud9.
I think that's why EG are playing mid and bot specifically. They have a 4-1 with Lulu. You can't be alone in the side lane at this point. And so C9, the way they're trying to break this, they're just trying to group up as 5. They still feel like they can win these fights at the moment. And even though Copy's 0-3, he's had a big spike with the Serpent's Fang. A lot of lethality off the back of Graves. They're going to be looking to split up the members of EG, try and one-shot them. Darshan's in Mega. This is their chance to go.
Darshan is trying to zone Tony Top to make sure that the Slicing Maelstrom doesn't come out, but the real fight is just off of the back of Mystique, finding a pick on a Copy, man. And Surefire is on the run. No one can touch the members of Cloud9. They rout off their opposing enemy teams. Oh my goodness, Cubby. This is disgusting.
And I feel like a very underrated piece of this composition is actually the Ashe, because these AoE slows coming out from Team Luke, it just buys more time for Tomio to get in range, to land these Ws, to make sure that he's able to push forward in these fights, empowered on the Lulu. And honestly, this is a clinic from EG. I know they're bleeding out some side lane gold in these mid games, but they kind of have to do that, because with Lulu, you want to play a 4-1. You want to group up with your jungler, try and make plays off the back of that, and the way they're playing these fights, isolating these members, they're giving C9 a clinic in these team fights and how they set up for them, Rafa.
And you even saw that Darshan was zoning off Tony Top. He didn't get into the fight, but the engage, Crystal Enchanted Arrow lands, and then the rest of Cloud9, King, the Mega Inferno Bomb doesn't really hit anyone in the back line, at least not in the center. And as we noted before from Isles, when out flash on Leona, you can't easily access the backline to set up that layer of crowd control for that guaranteed damage from this the backline that you have from Cloud9.
Also, special shout out to Tomio there. With that Crescent Guard, knocked away 2 members of C9, isolated Surefire, once again enabling EG to go 1-by-1 with their target selection. Something that's very important with the Xin Lulu Ashe combo, just fighting front to back. Something that EG has done very well in this game, and something that's got them out of this 3k gold deficit once again around the 15-minute mark, and got them now a 3k gold lead where they're looking to continue to push forward with their very fed Xin Zhao.
Almost 26 minutes into the game. Objectives for Dragon are not going to spawn for another 3 minutes, but Baron will be up on the table in about 40. Darshan is currently pushing out in the top lane, trying to look for Evil Geniuses to gain control into this top river, because at the moment, the Vision stops at their jungle entrances, and if they walk past further beyond that without Cloud9 being able to see where the rest of EG are, it is a very dangerous territory.
And C9 as a whole in this best of 5, Rafa, they're in dangerous territory. I know talking with Copy, they felt like they could kind of take advantage of EG's, what he called over-aggression. But this has been calculated aggression from the young jungler Tomio. I know that EG and Team Luke were talking about, Contracts was a big voice in our team. We feel like we have to go back to the drawing board, reset a little bit, but just enabling Tomio, who got to this place off of his freakish solo queue mechanics we talked about, is Nidalee. He's also known for his Rengar on the ladder. He made Scouting Grounds without having ever had competitive experience last year, just off his solo queue play, and shocked everyone with how talented he was on the stage. Now continuing to do that in his next step of his career here in Academy. This over-aggression from EG, it's all planned. They're taking advantage of the strengths to Tomio, this young player, and it's paying off for them as they look to push this best of 5 to 2-0 as they come off the reset. Baron's now on the map. Look for EG with this 4-1. They're going to keep one bot, stack 4 up, try and take control of this top jungle, and then try and get a pick off the Baron. If they can deny vision, that's when Enchanted Crystal Arrow gets very scary from EG and for C9. If they can get in here, clear out all the vision C9, which because C9 has the reset, match the reset of EG, they have a window to do right now.
Threat or Baron could start right after Vision is swept up here in this topside jungle. Cloud9 have to dedicate their beefiest members into being able to walk into the jungle and fight back for vision control, because at this point, this is where things get really dicey. A Crystal Enchanter from Fog of War, where you can't actually flash in time. This is going to be so crucial.
And because they have mid-wave priority, I was wondering if they kept Tony top mid, they would have looked to actually push for the Baron there, but they're instead going to play 3 lanes, fix their sides at the moment, as C9 were crashing both. And once they fix their sides, that's when they're going to get the window to try and start this Baron. Their goal is just to force out Darshan's TP. And now that Darshan just popped Mega, after this mid-wave, this is the window where EG could look to start that Baron to try and bait out that teleport.
As you won't have Mega Gnar form from Darshan either. It's starting to run out. Let's watch to see if Evil Geniuses decide to pick a fight right here, right now. Christian Chanonero comes in, goes wide on the Fire. It's okay. They still have grand entrance and quickness, as we've seen before. Evil Geniuses have been able to make that pick work. Their window is not taken, but the Dragon still a nice consolation prize to take in 30 seconds.
That said, C9, they're going to try and push for this a little bit harder, as Darshan did base, and is actually going to TP back to lane, so they're going to try and get mid-prio, and C9, they want to contest this. As instead of looking for the Baron, EG did look for the fight. The ECA doesn't connect. Darshan's actually landing some great poke on the Tomio. This is favorable setup for C9 so far.
Yeah, Tomio's getting chunked out here, and he's not a solo laner. He doesn't have teleport. He
He's about
can't
to
get
pop
back
Mega.
into the fight. He's already popped the Sterix gauge. That's already a huge defensive utility.
Oh,
Tomio's
Tony!
going to look for the flank. Annihilates Copy. Surenfire is now getting chunked out. Soulfire lands, but it's a beautiful re-engage from Mystiques. It is going to wipe out the rest of the members of Cloud9. Darshan lands a huge Mega Gnar ultimate
King.
into the wall. Wait, just as I said, Cloud9 might be taken out, but the backline for King is still alive. You also have Isles to be able to provide a frontline agency for Cloud9. Dragon is not going to go the way of EG, and they have to back off.
Darshan, a huge ultimate in that fight. They had King over the wall. Good positioning from C9. And honestly, that fight was somewhat saved from Tony Top, but I have to pause because EG, they're actually taking this time to do Baron.
I don't think they know. Teleport is coming from,
King.
I believe, King. They suspect that something is up. Mega Inferno Bomb might not be available to make the steal. They don't have Surenfire to make the 50-50 smite. They're going to come in, though. It's going to be crucial for Tomio to land this. King, you have enough damage. Can you match it? Oh, man. That could have been close.
Not even close, baby. That bouncing bomb, it doesn't connect with anything. The Worm's already dead in the pockets of EG. As with the jungler being down, EG, they understood that if Jojo Pion resets, it's big. But look at this teamfight setup. This is saved by Tony Top. This does not look good for EG. They look like Darshan's just going to zone him out with Mega. And Tony Top with the flash. Key that King was actually able to satchel charge out of that, because look at what Darshan and King do for the rest of the fight. Mystiques, beautiful engage, turns it. Now Darshan, hitting Mega, is able to find a three-man combo, and King cannot be touched over the wall. EG, they already burned all their engage tools, and this is what allows C9 to get back into the fight with the bouncing bombs, with the minefields over the wall. No one can get on the King, so C9, they take the Dragon. This does give them soul point, but now EG, they have a window round where they could wrap up the game with this Baron. They could never have that soul point really become an issue if they are able to find a game-winning fight here against C9.
Tony Top will not have flash for this fight. Still has access to Slicing Maelstrom. Will depend on the rest of EG to be able to set up the initial engage for him unless he's able to find a flank through the jungle. But at the way that EG are pushing into the base, their focus is on getting as much structure damage as possible while the buff is alive.
Big deep breath here, as we have EG trying to finish off this game in a manner where this is honestly the timer they have to hit at the moment, Rafa, because Copy is very far behind on this Graves, but he is going to pack a punch. Upfront damage is what the name of the game is all about for C9. And EG, with levels about to max out, with builds starting to get close to maxing out as well, EG, they do have a window where they can try and maintain this 4K Goldie. The fact that they will get outscaled as this game goes on. Look at the items that King has in his pocket right now, Rafa. That is a Death Cap, a Void Staff, and a Seraph's Embrace about to be wrapped up too once King finds the gold to finish that. As EG really have to put a priority on finding King, finding the Ziggs in these fights. That solo source of magic damage, him being so far ahead, he is what is keeping C9 in this game.
And crucially so with that Void Staff pick, as he went for the Death Cap third. I almost was concerned that with all the Wits Ends that had been stacked up, and the magic resists coming out from Tony Top respectively as well, that it wasn't going to be enough damage from King to cut through all of it. But now the Void Staff giving you that extra magic penetration to cut through the defensive items that EG have optimized for this next fight. If King is able to line up the Mega Inferno Bomb, to line up all that damage in combo with Isles' crowd control, is going to be crucial. And Cloud9 are able to win out on this next fight, because at this point, they are relying on Infernal Soul to keep them in this game.
And EG relying on their Baron to keep C9 in their base to try and control this Infernal Dragon coming up, as they realize the importance, realize the fact that C9, despite being down 4K gold, with the champs and the spikes that they're at the moment, still have a good chance to come back in this game, especially if they get that Infernal Soul. That could push them over the edge, give them the stats, the extra damage they need, try and start denying the Xin Zhao Lulu combo from EG. as EG. I think coming into this series, no one that's a fan of Academy that has watched these teams would have EG sitting 2-0, but they're looking to prove everyone wrong. And off the back of one more dominant fight, one more game-winning flank from Tony Top, a combo from Tomio and Jojo Pion. That's all EG could need to try and put the finishing touches on this one, but big key is going to be King. We have to keep our eyes on that Ziggs. If EG finds Ziggs, this game is over. That's the only magic damage they have. Everyone else, they are speccing heavy into MR because they realize it's difficult to get onto King, but if King goes down, that's where EG has the window to break the base. So really going to have to keep our eyes on King, how he uses that satchel charge, how he uses that flash to escape the engage that EG is going to attempt to find onto him, because he is the big, important member in this game.
The other crucial member that we have seen in this game has been Tony Top and Mystiques, who have been able to find beautiful engages. Even when the Crystal Enchanted Arrow does not land or it has already been used, Tony Top has now access to Teleport, Flash, and Slicing Maelstrom. Even if he is not able to go through the front door, he can always find a flank. They're going to start off the fight onto Tomio. Crystal Enchanted goes onto Darshan. Already, the Mega Inferno Bomb goes wide. That's a bunch of damage that's going to be missing. Isles is gone. Tony Top is waiting for his moment. He's waiting for his time. Darshan getting routed off. Jojo Pion is going to get routed off here by a beautiful collateral damage from Copy from downtown. But they still lose out on Darshan. And with 3 members to 4, Evil Geniuses will deny this dragon.
Key for EG and good use of terrain there as King. That ultimate, it was dropped in the perfect spot, but EG, they weren't CC. They were able to escape the engage. As Tomio just sees Copy mid and says, hey, it's a 5v4. Let's take this. We feel like we have it. And look at that ult. No one gets hit by the Ziggs ult. As EG, they retreat, use the terrain rather beautifully. Darshan lands a big ult, does sack his life, but they do at least find a trade as 4-man collateral damage. You're seeing the potential of this damage from Graves, of the Lethality, of the shield break that he has on the Serpent's Fang. It's very crucial. But EG, once again, they deny it. Now, Rafa, it's all about that Baron setup once again. Can EG play out this 4-1? Can they get control of the mid lane? Can they snowball that into control of the top jungle? Try and isolate C9 and force the TP out of Darshan. That's the only way that they can try and answer. To this point, Darshan's going to win that side lane matchup. So, getting the TP out from him, giving EG the advantage in the side lane, the ability to pull C9 around the map, very key at this next point of the game.
Evil Geniuses don't have the first punch to the jungle quite yet, but they do have the first punch to the mid wave as they're already getting the shove in. Expect to see Fog of War be completely dark for Cloud9 in this top jungle as they are coming in now. Sweep out any existing vision. Surenfire and Isles were waiting for a potential pick, but Mystiques has a little bit of extra mobility thanks to that Grand Entrance to be able to escape harm's way. Cloud9 are still going to be able to maintain lights on the entrance of the jungle, but not necessarily into the Baron Pit.
These fights over the mid wave are going to be significant as EG, they feel like they have a member caught. They get Shurn.
King gets out. Mega Inferno Bomb does land a bit of damage on the team. Luke forces his flash. Darshan is in Mega, though. Evil Genius is still in hot pursuit. Jojo Pion has been sniped out. Slicing is huge from Tony Top. Once again, it's an instant triple from the top laner for Evil Geniuses.
Oh, and Tony Top's doing such a good job of waiting out these cooldowns, waiting out the things that could stop his engage, the minefield, the satchel charge. They were all burned. Tony Top sees the angle, finds the flash, finds 3 as Darshan. He's being forced to cut the wave. So EG, they can't siege, they can't take one of the inhibitor turrets or an inhibitor. They have to go for the Baron, which it looks like they will set their sights on and should be able to secure.
There's no smite either from Cloud9 available, so this surely should go in their favor. Cloud9, once again, in a position where they are just one dragon away from having Soul on their side, and Evil Genius is just doing everything right to keep that away.
And I like, it sounds weird, but I really like where EG's taking that fight in the mid lane where things are open. It gives you more angles to dodge out on a Gnar or a Ziggs, where if you fight them in the jungle, they have walls, they have chokes to play around, which is what's so difficult against the Ziggs when he's able to play those chokes, stop you from getting through. The fact they take that fight in the middle of the mid lane, it takes a lot of abilities away from Gnar to slam you against walls in the jungle, to put minefields and chokes where you can't get through an EG in the open fight. They take the 3-for-1. And now, once again, they have the Baron. It's so difficult to siege against Ziggs. EG do not have the best sieging team. They're going to try and at least net themselves an inhibitor and maintain pressure to take this third dragon, as this one's looking to go long, Rafa.
A minute and 40 on the next dragon of the game here, Cubby. Already you see the works of Tony Top pushing in this bottom side of the map. Has teleport. as well as Jojo Pion if they ever wanted to go on to the top side of the map, respectively, as Copy. It's pushing in. We just take another look at this fight as Tony Top, he's the man. He's the man of the show here.
He is, but once again, that engage from Tomio, it forced C9 3 members back into the choke. And Tony Top, I mean, once he sees the angle, we talk about how dark side lane now that he has Wit's End, but in the team fights, that is a full build cannon. And Tony Top is hitting like a train. I know it's just a scary electric raccoon, but man, is he hitting hard in these team fights.
I mean, this is a Pikachu full on steroids, man. Full tackles hitting different at this point in the game for Evil Geniuses Academy. Mystiques getting a little poke down onto Cloud9, getting in their faces. Maybe a little bit of a taunting action. Hashtag Live Evil, living up to the brand. Cloud9 in their base, just trying to do what they can to stall out the game. But for Evil Geniuses, they can just maintain this position, maintain this control of the jungle, where it's an easy route for them to pick up the next dragon.
EG, they're going to try and siege this down as 5, but it's rather scary. Team Nuke does not have access to Flash. Now, King does not either. I think that's going to be the target for each team, respectively. Try and take down the big carries, but as you properly called out, Rafa, EG, they realize if they make any mistake at this point of the game, that's Dragon over to C9. They don't want to risk that. They're just playing cautiously in this jungle, trying to stop C9 from getting in, and trying to play the map themselves to make sure that C9 cannot even approach this Dragon.
Cloud9 are trying to slowly make their way through the bottom lane as their only entrance, as the jungle is just... it's too damn scary. It's too dark for face-checking into a Rakan, into a cannon.
They're going to try and melt it.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Cloud9 just don't have an answer. I mean, they can try and force something, but now they've given up the inside track to the mid lane where it's an open inhibitor. There's a minion wave that is building up. If Cloud9 don't get back to the base, this could be major damage on these Nexus turrets.
Oh, he's going for a base stop. The ECA, it forced King to stop his base. He's now forced to TP back. They should be able to protect the mid lane, but EG, they're going to use this pressure, actually walk top, try and get another inhibitor for themselves.
This inhibitor turret could fall here. Mystiques is over on the wall. If any of the Cloud9 members get a little too close for this defense, things could get scary. Things could get very, very tricky here for Cloud9 as they're able to push back on the defense, but still, losing out on that structure means another step closer to an EG win.
Darshan's done a really good job of managing his Narbar in this game. The last minute, even though C9 didn't find a fight, he was at least threatening that he could go Mega and Gnar out, and that's what EG is scared of. So EG, seeing that, they back off. They say, you know what? We took an inhibitor. We knocked down a turret. If we win another fight dominantly, we have it now and fall back upon, but also the Baron that they've done such a good job of controlling in this game. As we're approaching full builds here, Rafa, and that gold lead for EG, it is sitting at 6k, but it doesn't really matter anymore, considering the fact that we have Ashe at full build. Xin Zhao now also just sitting on control wards, only has one more item slot to fill out. And importantly for C9, once again, King is massive. If King goes untouched in a fight, if he hits a big combo with the rest of his team, it could be all this 41 minutes of hard work from EG gone in an instance if King is able to connect.
Check this out, Cubby. Tony Top sold the Medjai's, bought his Zhonya's Hourglass. So not only you have Flash, you have Teleport, you have the Proto Belt to be able to get in range and close the distance. You also have the extra protection of Zhonya's Hourglass to go for what could potentially be the game-winning play. Tony Top was sitting in Nexus, potentially thinking about if Cloud9 thought about overextending into the jungle, waiting for a TP flank, but the eyes are potentially on the Baron. It's not going to be up for another minute, but you can get control of the top jungle.
Deep breaths. We called out a couple minutes ago. This one's probably going the distance as EG sieging against Sig, so difficult. And C9, while they've been behind, they've been trying to put themselves back in this game, trying to find that one fight where they find that burst onto a member of EG, onto Jojo Pion, onto Team Luke. Not been able to connect yet, but still have some more chances at it. The C9 are surviving. We have a rather close one on our hands, Rafa, on the edge of our seats. Trying to see if EG can go 2-0, or if C9 can answer back. It's 30 seconds until the Baron. The wars over the mid lane will start once again, as EG are looking to maintain priority in mid and in that top jungle, something that C9 has actually done a good job of defending this time around.
When you're breaking 70k gold on either side of the playing field, you know the game has gone the distance. Full builds have been almost completed by every single member on the Rift, as the last items have just either been a subcomponent or things like stopwatch, control wards, as the vision game is still just as crucial as we get into the later parts of the game, because the death timers are going to be so long. One wrong misstep, one one pick made by a team could be the last.
Here we go. Baron's now on the map. 90 seconds until Infernal Dragon's on the map, where it is sole point for each team. As EG still trying to take control over this top jungle, trying to find that engage. As I think playing around that Mega Gnar bar is going to be key as they find a pick.
Isles still has flash. Mystique's in hot pursuit. Pop the quickness a little too early, potentially. Could have potentially used flash, but he would have used a ton of summoner spells just to get in range. The pick is not made in sights for Evil Geniuses. They still have about a minute's time for this dragon to spawn. Cooldowns could be up by that time, but Cloud9 take a little bit of reprieve, knowing that they can push out.
I do like that choice from EG, because going for the pick then, they're going to have ECA up for Dragon. That's the real important objective that they have, so just burning a flash for nothing once that Dragon spawns. Still a minor win for EG, who are maintaining control over this game. As everyone getting that last base in, picking up some stopwatches, understanding the importance of this Infernal fight, could very well decide what has been now a 45-minute game, Rafa. As C9 could undo all the good work of EG with one good fight.
It is for Infernal Soul on the line as well. Win that dragon, and then every single damage, every single auto attack, spell, packs just a little bit more punch that could punch through the resistances of either team. As we have reached the full game point, the full late game coming in. Jojo Pyun already popping the teleport. No flanks to be had from Tony Top. Maybe he can wrap around the corner and find an angle here as well.
Look at Darshan. Darshan's trying to pop Mega, trying to scout out. Mystique's going.
Oh, copy has been popped, but he still has GA.
Cody!
Surefire's trying to absorb as much time as he can. Darshan could have an angle here. Finds a 3-man Gnar ultimate, but it's not into the tower. And Tony Top with the beautiful slicing Maelstrom zones away King and Isles from being able to participate in the fight. Infernal Soul is awarded to Evil Geniuses.
And they took down the jungler, so this should be Baron, should be the double buff for EG as well if they want to play this one out safely. And
no,
they don't care. Oh, they want to end. They want to try and end.
King has the recall right now, but it might not be in time. He had teleport. I don't know if it's going to be soon enough. Ziggs wave clear can be powerful, but can be enough to stall out the game.
This is risky from EG. Let's see if they can find Ziggs. He still has flash.
Mega Inferno Bomb comes out just to clear the wave. Nexus turrets might still fall. They flash on the King. He flashes away in time. Isles trying to give his life for the greater cause, but the Nexus turret burns out. It's only King
at the Nexus.
4. Can he put out the damage? But to Evil Geniuses, they just turn tail towards the Nexus. Game 2 goes over to Evil Geniuses, and they're at match point.
It took 46 minutes to break a Ziggs, but EGA, they finally do it. It was a tense game, and Darshan was going for the flank, but credit to EG. They knew that Gnar was there. They scouted Darshan over the wall. They said, you know what? It's a 4v5. If we wait, he's going to get Mega. He's going to have a flanking angle. So they pull the trigger. They go in. And that so-called over-aggression from EG, that's the perfect amount of calculated aggression they need to take those fights and take this game. As it took a while, but a clean game from EG, once again overcoming a deficit in the early game, turning things around off that mid-game spike, off that Lulu mid from Jojo Pyun.
At this point, I don't know if you can call it over-aggression anymore from Evil Geniuses. That identity, that play style, that association, it is gone. The control and the patience from Evil Geniuses Academy, off the back of including their new Academy jungler. I mean, you just have to give massive props to this team for being able to integrate him so well into the roster and having a completely newfound sense of direction for this team, because, I mean, it's way different than what Evil Geniuses were known for the entire summer, and I'm excited to see more. I know I would love to see a full 5-game series and for it to go the distance, but Evil Geniuses, the way that they have been playing, it could end in the next game. As we're going to be taking a break. When we come back, Tigress, Mad Magical, and Deserex are going to be breaking down that second game.